Working at the Daisy Inflatable BB gun range is a rewarding experience. As a range instructor, you'll have the opportunity to introduce young and first-time shooters to the enjoyment of the shooting sports and to teach them some fundamental gun safety rules and marksmanship skills. A printed instruction booklet has been supplied to assist you with setting up and packing up the range. This video will walk you through those setup instructions. The range is shipped to you in a crate. Do not cut the bands on this crate and do not remove any screws. There are 2 bolt-headed pins on one edge of the top of the crate. Pull those 2 pins up and out. Standing in front of the crate, grasp the sides of the front panel near the top and tilt the panel towards you. Lift it up to remove it. Replace the pins so that they do not get lost. Allow at least 30 minutes to set up this range. The inflatable range itself is in a large canvas bag, cinched with rope at the top. Stakes and anchor bags to be filled with water are included to anchor the range. Use these only if necessary. Also supplied are the BB guns, BBs, targets, and shooting glasses you'll need for this event. Use what you need and be sure to repack all remaining guns, targets, and BBs to be used at the next event. Because you may be receiving this range from another event, always assume that every gun is loaded. Check each gun to be sure the mechanical safety is in the on-safe position, no red showing. There is also a box containing a fan and 2 sets of target runners. Remove everything from the crate, replace the front panel, and replace the pins so that nothing gets lost. Position the bag with the range in it approximately where you want to set it up. Sweep the area clean to reduce risk of puncture. Uncinch the rope at the top of the bag and peel the sides down. Invert the bag so that the opening is on the ground and pull the bag up and off of the range. Untie the cinched cords around the circumference of the range and unroll the range. Spread it out completely, then drag it into place where you want to set it up. Be sure that the range is completely unrolled and unfolded. Position the air input tube where you want the rear of the range and close to an electrical outlet. The input tube must be fully extended and mostly straight in order to properly inflate the range. Remove the fan from the box. Attach the air input tube onto the fan nozzle using the velcro strap which is attached to the end of the tube. Make this connection as airtight as possible. Be certain that you have 2 feet of clearance around the fan intake and that no fabric or plastic can be drawn into the intake. This can burn up the fan quickly. If the range begins to deflate at any time, check that fan to be sure that it's clear of debris. Before you plug in the fan, check the 4 vents to be sure they are closed. There are 2 vents under Velcro flaps at the base of the back of the range and 2 vents under Velcro flaps inside the firing points on the base at the front of the range. These must be closed in order for the range to inflate. Plug in the fan and push the red reset button on the plug. Also, there is a rocker switch on the fan itself which must be in the on position. The range will inflate in about 1 minute. However, after the first 30 seconds, most of the range will be inflated and you may need to lift up on the upper beams along both sides in order to complete inflation. To set up the target runners, unzip the right rear side panel of the range and step inside. Inside, at the top of the rear of the range, hang 1 large pulley from each of the overhead rings, using the snap provided on the pulley. Tie 1 end of a cord to the rear of 1 target runner, the small loop at the end of the wire. Then thread that cord through a large pulley going under the pulley wheel toward the back, then out over the top toward the front. You may want to get the pulley down to thread this cord. Holding the end of the cord, pass it through the right brass grommet located above the firing bench area at the front of the range, from the inside of the range toward the outside. There are 2 sets of small pulleys attached by bent wire. These wires each go under a Velcro flap in the shooting area of each firing point. Reach outside or have another person help you to run the cord down through the 2 pulleys on the wire, then back up and through the remaining brass grommet above into the range area. Pull the cord back inside the range and tie it snugly to the front wire circular hoop of the target holder. That's the loop at the top of the vertical part of the wire. Repeat this procedure for the second target runner. The cords now complete a circuit. Exit the range and re-zip the panel. Reach through the firing slit and clip on a paper target using the clip included with the wire target runner. Standing at the firing bench area, when you pull down on one side of the cord, you will send the target down range. When you pull down on the other side of the cord, you will bring the target back to the firing point. If the cords become difficult to pull, it's possible that the cord has slipped off of a pulley. Guns can be stored in the storage sleeves attached to the wall separating the two firing points. Targets, shooting glasses, and BBs can be stored in the pouches provided. You are now ready to accept your first shooter at the range. You, as a range instructor, and every shooter, must wear shooting glasses, no exceptions. This range is designed to emphasize safe gun handling and shooting safety, and to teach basic marksmanship skills through one-on-one instruction. Never leave a shooter unsupervised, and never leave the range set up and unattended. Only BB guns with a muzzle velocity of 350 feet per second or less can be shot in this inflatable range. Do not shoot pellets. Do not shoot paintball. Do not shoot archery. Do not shoot air guns or even soft air guns with velocities over 350 feet per second. No exceptions. The Daisy Buck and the Daisy Red Ryder BB guns are ideal for use at this range. Because the range has two firing points, it can accommodate two shooters and two instructors at a time. No matter how experienced, do not leave any shooter unattended. It is important that only two people, one instructor and one shooter, be in the firing point area at any time. All others must stand outside. Parents of young shooters are encouraged to stand behind the range to be able to watch their children. A banner listing 10 shooting safety rules is highly visible to people who are standing in line to shoot. While people are in line, encourage them to read the shooting safety rules, especially that first rule, always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. That primary rule of gun safety is the primary rule you must observe as you instruct at the Daisy Inflatable Range. As the range instructor, you must have control of or supervision over the BB guns at all times. Guns not in use may be stored in the storage sleeves attached to the walls separating the two shooting areas. When you set up the range for an event, place one Daisy Buck BB gun and one Daisy Red Ryder BB gun in each of the sleeves provided on the wall separating the two shooting areas of the range. Keep the safety of each gun in the on-safe position. Push the safety button from the left to the right so that no red is showing. Load each BB gun by sliding open the loading port on the side of the barrel near the muzzle of the gun. You can load up to 400 BBs into the Daisy Buck BB gun and up to 650 BBs into the Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. When a shooter enters the firing point area, you should be in there to greet them. Hand them a pair of shooting glasses. Clip a target in place and run the target downrange by pulling on one of the target runner cords. Select one of the BB guns, a Daisy Buck or a Daisy Red Ryder. Keeping the muzzle pointed up in the air, verify that the safety is in the on-safe position, no red showing, by pushing the safety button from the left to the right. Cock the gun by pulling the lever completely open. You should hear a series of 7 clicks. If the gun will not fire when cocked, it may not be fully cocked. Check to see if the lever can be cocked any further. Insert the muzzle of the gun into the slot in the range and allow the shooter to mount the gun to their shoulder. Assist the shooter in mounting the butt of the gun stock to their shoulder on their dominant eye side. For example, a right-handed person with a dominant right eye should mount the gun to their right shoulder. At no time should a loaded or cocked gun be pointed anywhere but downrange. Stand behind or beside the shooter in a position which would allow you to take control of the BB gun quickly at any time. Tell the shooter that, when ready, they should click the safety to the off-safe position with the red showing by pushing the safety button from the right toward the left. Then instruct them to take aim at the target and squeeze the trigger gently. Allow the shooter to take at least 3 shots, more if there's no waiting crowd. Between each of the 3 shots, you should take control of the BB gun. While handling the gun, keep it pointed up in the air or down range. Each time you take the BB gun from the shooter, verify that the gun is on safe by pushing the safety button from left to right so that no red is showing. When the shooter is finished, take control of the BB gun, put it on safe, and insert it, muzzle down, into the gun storage sleeve attached to the wall separating the 2 shooting areas. Retrieve the target by pulling on one side of the target runner cord and give it to the shooter. Ask the shooter to return the shooting glasses. In review, there are several things which will make you a success as a range instructor. 1. Only shoot BB guns with a maximum velocity of 350 feet per second in this range. 2. Always keep the safeties of the BB guns in the on-safe position when storing and handling the BB guns. 3. Always keep the muzzles of the BB guns pointed in a safe direction. 4. Maintain one-on-one instruction and emphasize safe gun handling. 5. Only allow one shooter in the firing point area at a time. 6. You, the range instructor, and the shooter must always wear shooting glasses. 7. You, the range instructor, should always be the person to cock the gun and hand it back to the shooter with safety in the on-safe position. 8. Never leave a shooter unsupervised and never leave the range set up and unattended. Because your event spans more than one day, it is necessary to deflate the range overnight. Remove all guns, targets, BBs, and glasses from the range. Turn off, then unplug the fan and disconnect it from the inflation tube. Store all of these items overnight in the crate in which the range was shipped, or in a secure, locked location, protected from the weather. Do not cut the bands or remove any screws when you open this crate. Remember, there are 2 bolt-headed pins on one edge at the top of the crate. Pull those 2 pins up and out. Standing in front of the crate, grasp the sides of the front panel near the top and tilt the panel towards you. Lift it up to remove it. After storing your gun's ammo and fan, replace the front panel and replace the pins. When you return in the morning, retrieve everything from the crate, hook up and plug in the fan to inflate the range. Check to see that the target runners are working properly and that the cords have not slipped off the pulleys. When the event is over, you are ready to pack up the range. Remove all glasses, targets, and BBs from the storage pouches and remove all guns from the storage sleeves attached to the wall separating the 2 firing points. Remove all BBs from the guns. Always assume that every gun is loaded and always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Check that the mechanical safeties on all guns are in the on-safe position, no red showing. Enter the range through the zippered side panel on the right. Untie the cords and remove the target holders and large pulley. Also remove the small wires with pulleys that are under the velcro flaps in the shooting areas. Do not leave any metal wires or pulleys or product in or around the range, as they may puncture it when stored and shipped. Holding the target runner wires and pulley wires together, wind the cords neatly around them. Place the target runners and cords with the fan so that you'll store them together in the box. Using a large magnet or a cup, collect the BBs from the retention trap below the targets. Push down on the mesh and the BBs will roll towards your hand. You can scoop them up with the cup. This is a good time to inspect the range and, using a damp rag, wipe off any dirt so that the next user receives the range in a condition which reflects your pride in this program. Open the front and rear velcro flaps at the base of the range and unzip the 4 vents, 2 at the front and 2 at the rear of the range. The range will begin to deflate. Unplug the fan and remove the air intake tube from the fan so that the air in the range can be expelled. Allow the range to completely deflate. Store the fan in the box provided, along with the target runner hardware, pulleys, and cord. 2 people on one side, one at the front and one at the rear, should fold one side of the range toward and beyond the center point. Then fold the other side toward and beyond the center so that the 2 sides are overlapped. Once folded, the range width of the folded range must be no wider than the height of the bag. In sock feet, walk on the range from the center out toward each vent and towards the air intake tube to force as much air out as possible. You may do this more than once. Begin at the front of the range and roll it tightly toward the rear, allowing air to escape. Tie the ropes around the girth of the rolled up range and stand it on in. Slip the bag over the range, invert it, and cinch the bag closed. If the range won't fit in the bag, repeat these steps. Remove the 2 bolt head pins at the top of the crate. Grasp the front panel and pull it toward you and lift and remove that panel. Roll the range into the crate. Place the box with the fan, the target runners, the targets, the shooting glasses, all of the guns and BBs in the crate. Set the front panel in place and tilt it back to close the crate and reinsert the 2 pins. Notify store management that your crate is ready for freight pickup. Thank you for volunteering to instruct at the Daisy Inflatable Range. We hope that the experience was as rewarding for you as it was for the young people you worked with.